let's make that smooth transition to UNLV basketball here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so UNLV hoops. They played today. They lost to Kansas. Sorry if you haven't heard. They lost. Poor second half. They lost to Kansas.
Yeah, looked good for the first half though, for sure.
Yeah, they're winning by about 4 or 5 points.
Yeah.
I could say it's better than that Stanford game. Jeez, that was a mess.
Yeah, that was, my gosh.
I don't know what to make of them. It kind of felt like, so after seeing Stanford, seeing what they've done, like, oh, they're not going to be that good, but they say Christian Wood do this. They have Rashad Vaughn, the block, what's his name? O'Connor Block, we're naming him now, I guess. Is that his nickname?
Good luck O'Connor Bob, but O'Connor Block, yeah.
Yeah, let's go with that. Good luck, yeah. They finally started coming together. They somehow beat Arizona, which is a pretty big win.
Yeah.
But I assume, you'll probably agree, but there's a team that just needs more time, I guess, to play together.
Yeah, this is kind of what UNLV has been the last few years. They have so much talent, they're just kind of struggling to put it together, and they look amazing when they can put it together for a full 40 minutes like they did against Arizona. They even put it together pretty well against Wyoming, but as we all know, it's pretty much impossible to win at Wyoming. So I think they're coming together at a really good time. I think you saw 20 minutes of really good UNLV against Kansas. The second half, I think they kind of fell apart a little bit, maybe got a little bit comfortable with the lead. But UNLV going into this season, I don't think many people thought that they would seriously challenge for first place just because Dave Rice's super loaded, talented teams don't usually.
And he has an issue of in-game coaching, I think. That's still a thing.
Yeah. I mean, people aren't a huge fan of Dave Rice, and I mean they have reason because he's had 5-star talent now for the past few years, and they haven't made the tournament. So, but you saw what UNLV can be against Arizona, and you saw it against Wyoming in first half of Kansas. So things are looking up for Rebels fans in terms of challenging for an NCAA tournament bid and the Mountain West title.
Yeah, Christian Wood, who's probably one of the top 3 or 4 players in the league. He's played 40 minutes versus Wyoming. He did pretty good, okay, versus Kansas. I don't know if he's the best player right now, but he's come on the past 4 or 5 games.
He's probably the best NBA prospect right now, for sure.
Makes sense. I don't know where you put Larry Nance Jr., but he can do everything, it seems like.
He's a freaking beast.
No kidding. He'll do his Air Jordan dunks at the free throw line twice a game, seems like.
Yeah, Wyoming, I mean, watching them the other day against UNLV, I think that maybe not enough people give them credit for how athletic they are. This is an athletic team with Larry Nance Jr., Josh Adams, Derek Cook Jr. I mean, all these guys can really LA Clippers it up, just Lob City. It's a very, very athletic team, and usually when you think of Wyoming, you think of smothering defense and impossible to win on the road. But I was very impressed with that, at least. Yeah.
Can't win at home. They winning. Apparently I muted myself again. Sorry about that. I don't know why. Lovely Google. Google Plus is my friend, apparently. Google Hangout. But no, look at Wyoming. Besides playing at their renovated arena there, if they're going to lose at home, they're going to lose to maybe San Diego State at home and maybe Colorado State. That's about it. They might lose one game at home all year in conference play.
Right. I mean, looking at their schedule, let's see. They've got at Colorado State, which will be a toughie. Versus Boise at home, then versus SDSU, which should be a toughie. At Fresno State, which might be a toughie. Who knows? SDSU sure looks bad. And then for the rest of the schedule,
New Mexico at home and Utah State.
Yeah, and then I think at UNLV and at UNM would be the 2 biggest challenges other than that. So Wyoming has a pretty good schedule, I would say.
Yeah, Boise, the injuries they have, and then if New Mexico overcome Colin Nell, it seems like they could with him being out. But Wyoming I think they're going to make a tournament. I'm probably going to say it early, even if it's super early. They're probably going to be a tournament team just because.
Definitely.
If they win at home and lose, like I said, just say they lose to. If you look at who they should lose to, San Diego State and New Mexico are the 2 teams they should lose to at home. If you think about it, if they only lose those 2 and split on the road, they're fine.
Right.
That's what 13 wins in conference about, I think, if I'm right on that. Somewhere
about
there.
And they're one of the few conference teams that gets to play San Jose State, Utah State, and Nevada. They get to play them all twice. So hypothetically,
and Fresno.
And Fresno, yeah. So hypothetically, that's 8 easy wins. Hypothetically.
Yeah, they should. We'll see with Utah State. Here's the thing with Utah State: never ever doubt Stu Morrill ever. ever.
That's true. That's true.
The used car salesman can never be doubted. He will, even though he lost his top 8 scores. Look what they did. They beat Boise down the road on a last-second shot.
And they've got the best hair in college basketball.
Oh,
let's not forget that.
Of course, they got the afro. Coach has the elbow patches, the wired brim glasses, those old things you wore in the mid-'90s. Your dad wore all the time. No, but they're an interesting team because they're only a decade removed from being in the Big West. So they've got Big West, WAC, Mountain West. That's a big jump along the way. They won the WAC, I think, once or twice. Outside of last year, Morrells won 20 games every year, but his first year at Utah State, and he may win 18 games again this year if he can get guys together.
That's true.
I don't think they're not going to challenge for anything, but they'll probably be like beating Boise. They'll probably beat a team here or there. They probably shouldn't. You would think, but playing at the Spectrum is similar to playing at Laramie. It's just a home game. It doesn't matter if you're playing at home. 80% chance you're going to win.
Right. Yeah, I mean, especially in the Mountain West, because some of these destinations, it's just hard to get to.
Yeah, if you're to Logan, even if you take the charter flight or there's a small airport north of Salt Lake and Ogden, you're still 80 minutes away from Utah State's campus.
Exactly.
Unless you're going to UNLV or San Diego State or Albuquerque, even I guess Boise, half the teams are hard to get to.
Right.
There's no airport in Fort Collins, Laramie. Yeah, it's difficult. Reno, I don't know how that works. Flooded Lake Tahoe or something.
Boat there. Yeah.
I don't know, but it's tough to get to, tough to play. But I don't know how many teams will make it. But what are your I said my early teams early on. Who do you think your couple of teams, if you think there's more than one team that'll make it come tournament time?
I'm not gonna go quite as far as Ziegler. Ziegler is writing all over the place that he thinks it's gonna be a one bid league.
Don't listen to him.
He's a good writer, man. I like the way he writes.
Here's what I'll say. He does basketball. You can trust him.
Mm-hmm.
Some of his opinions are pretty wacky. I think for football, block nothing.
No, okay, yeah.
X. He's right. He does good writing. But I'm saying some of his opinion stuff, he's way out there. I think.
Okay, that's fair.
That's what I'll go with. But yeah, for actual news on basketball, he knows what he's doing. But. Yeah,
that's fair.
Stick to the news. Stick to the facts.
So I think two-bid league is a good possibility. It's an even better possibility if somebody other than San Diego State wins the Mountain West tournament. Because I think even if SDSU doesn't win the tournament, they will get an at-large bid. And even if they don't deserve it, SDSU, I think, will benefit from their name. And as bad as that sounds, Steve Fisher has built up the name of SDSU in the past years, that it deserves to be a tournament team, that it's usually a tournament team. I mean, we've seen that lots of times with some of the East Coast teams where there's that East Coast bias where like a Seton Hall made it in years that they shouldn't have, even though they're looking pretty good this year. Yeah. I think SDSU might benefit from that this year, even if they don't make a tournament. And then the winner of the Mountain West tournament, I think if SDSU wins the Mountain West tournament, the best option for likelihood to get into the tournament, other than the Aztecs, would be the Rebels, because they have that big win against Arizona, and that's a resume builder. When you look at Wyoming, there aren't a lot of resume builders, even though they're the better team. But we'll see how this all unfolds. Who knows? Maybe Fresno State and Nevada will be battling it out for the championship. So
yeah, somehow San Jose State reverses that APR scores.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, probably tough. I agree with you. I think Aztecs are as close as a lock as you could say January. We're the first week of January.
Right.
As for that, like I said, I could see 2 to 3 or 4 other teams. But UNLV, beating Arizona, huge. Mm-hmm. Look at the RPI. Aztecs are to 50, which nothing great. Trying to look at the overall, but Wyoming probably needs to accumulate wins.
Yeah, Wyoming would need to be in the top 2 at least, I would think, in conference.
Yeah, if you look at the RPI, even though it's not always the best tool, but it's what they use.
Right.
Thought I had it here. Let's take a quick look. Rams are at 16, so they could be. I don't know. I know how the RPI works, but I don't really know how it works, how they come up with the numbers, because it's just who you played, who your opponents played, and the opponents played. Yeah. It's so little based on who you beat, which is kind of frustrating at times. So I think it's 25% who you played, it's something low, maybe 50%, but it's so much based on who your opponents played and beat.
Right.
And Wyoming, they're sitting at 116. To get in that large, you gotta be probably at worst 60, probably higher than 60.
Yeah, because hypothetically you got 68 teams, top 68. I mean, just that's loosely.
Yeah, just real quick. I know it's not the most exciting stuff at the moment, but Wyoming, they're like I said, we're sitting at 116. They do have the top 50 win versus UNLV and top 100 versus Colorado, but that's about it.
Mm-hmm.
And their two losses aren't bad. SMU and Cal are pretty good teams. They're both top 65, but Wyoming could be in there, but I think they probably got to make the final. But one team for sure, Aztecs. I think they'll be about 3. So
3? Okay, yeah. I mean, I could see that for sure. I'm hoping for it because I think Mountain West is a severely underrated league, even though we look pretty awful this year.
Well, it's like with football a little bit. It's like who do we got here? We got 3 or 4 teams getting 10 wins.
Right, and it's because they all beat each other up. Yeah.
There's that as well. But do you have anything like upcoming week we have? Because we'll wrap this up really quick. We got New Mexico, San Diego State. Who else any games you're looking forward to? Might be of interest.
Let's see.
You have the schedule open.
I've got a couple schedules up here. Yeah. Well, that New Mexico SDSU game, huge, of course. I think Colorado State hosting Wyoming is a huge, big early game. I think that's the day after SDSU UNM, so there'll be 2 straight days of good hoops.
Yeah, that game is Tuesday by itself on CBS Sports.
Oh, okay, cool, perfect.
And then Wednesday, you got just Wyoming CSU, the only game I'd really want to watch.
Yeah, no, thank you. Boise State travels to Wyoming on January 10th. That could be a potential upset game, but I would think Colorado State, Wyoming, and SDSU UNM are the big ones to watch this week.
I agree as well. I would kind of just to keep your eye on New Mexico at Utah State on Saturday the 10th.
Oh yeah.
Never know. Heck, that's a late game. I may
go to it, man. Yeah,
I'm thinking about it. I gotta see. I'm only 2 hours away. I gotta see if I can depending on my schedule. That'd be a good one to go to. I've never been to the Spectrum, and I know I should. I've been there for a while. I went to one football game, and it was unfortunate Chucky Keaton getting his knee blown out versus BYU.
Oh my gosh, really?
Right on the sideline, right in front. I'm like, oh no, he's out.
Oh,
I was right there, like, oh, that's the worst. But that would be a good one because New Mexico's down a bit with Cole and Nil, and they're still kind of finding their way a little bit. But Utah State at home. We saw what they did versus San Diego State last year. Wasn't it like double overtime or something at home?
I mean, the students show up during the big games, and you would think they'd show up against New Mexico.
They should, yeah. That's the other game I'd watch. Like I said, we got games Tuesday, Saturday, the 4 on Wednesday. I don't got anything else to add about basketball. I think we've done a good enough job for our first, hopefully, weekly show.
Yeah, I think we've pretty well covered it. Watching the game the other day with Wyoming and Colorado State, I realized Mountain West basketball's new slogan.
What is it?
The Conference of the Missed Open Layup.
That
is Mountain West hoops. We miss open layups. That is.
That's not what you want to see.
No, it's not.
That happens. Hey, heck, and they're college guys, but whatever, it happens. So that's all we got tonight. We are here's our scheduling plan for basketball. Once a week. We're not doing more than once a week. Unless tournament time comes up, we may figure that out. But Sunday, we'll do a leisurely Sunday stroll down the past week that happened in a week upcoming. And if you like basketball, like the show. We're at Blog Talk Radio sometimes. SoundCloud all the time. iTunes, Stitcher. Like I tell everybody on our other shows, even if you don't like us, give us 5 stars, but tell us how you really feel.
Yeah, man.
Just because 5 stars is what we want to have. If we're terrible, if I know nothing about basketball, if you don't like Matt because he likes the Aztecs, say that, but give us 5 stars.
Yeah.
That's all we need. So
I like that. Yeah.
That's what I tell all the time. Listen, and I specifically me, I am against your team. Apparently, every team we play against. And my headphones came out. Excellent. But we'll wrap this up here since it's time to go. But yeah, check us out, mwcconnection.com. Check out all of our basketball stuff. We're still doing everything else, football. We'll do some baseball coming up, but listen to our basketball show. And we will still be mixing in football as well for the draft. Whatever. We got a bunch of football stuff going on. We got a bunch of basketball stuff, but it's hoop season. And I kind of think it should start in January, but hey, we're going to go. We got a weekend and exciting stuff so far. Really quick, one last question, a prediction from you. Will the winner of the league have more or less than 5 conference losses?
Less.
Less?
Yes, regular season. The regular season will have less. I don't know about tournament champion, but regular season.
That's right. Yeah, regular season champion will be what, 14-4 or something? You think right about there?
Actually, yeah, I think that's a pretty good moniker. 14-4.
Pretty cool. That's a good question that came up at the end. So about 4
yes,
losses.
It was.
You get the home teams dominating all the time. Nobody can win on the road, but we'll see how that goes down. But yeah, check us out. We got Matt Bain there, Jeremy Moss here. Check us out for all of our podcasts. Like I said a million times, mwcconnection.com, and we'll see you guys next week.